Thank you, Dr. Sharma and Dr. Upadhyay, and of course, Rishi, Dr. Pant and others. I'm going to talk on a very common topic, but a very difficult group of patients to treat. You all know, as dermatologists, I did not tell you the basic things about varicose eczema. This eczema which occurs in the person with varicose veins can be because of allergy, or could be because of irritant, or could be a combination of these two. The allergy can predispose to irritant, and irritant can predispose to allergic. So it's a sort of cycle that goes on in this person. The skin is so sensitive in many persons that even water will irritate them. You all know the difference. This is basically undergraduate. But this allergic contact dermatitis and ulceration can have a very varied manifestation. And one of the common questions is we ask, how do you differentiate between a venous ulcer, arterial ulcer? We all have gone through that, and I am not going to help you differentiate. But nevertheless, please remember that very rarely any leg ulcer has a single etiology operating. It might have one main etiology, but other etiologies, other reasons also will contribute to the ulcer. So most of the ulcers which you see will be mixed. Only thing is the degree of mixing may vary in the various ulcers. And this, of course, is the pictorial presentation as to how it can present. How do you go about? We have to investigate. We can do a Doppler to find out. We can do an ankle brachial index in these cases. I'm just going straight to the topic. I'm not going into too much in the periphery of it. This will tell you whether compression bandage is going to be helpful or harmful to this patient. You all know that what should be the ankle brachial index, a very simple investigation, which should be done before we advise compression bandage to any case, or else the bandage you give is likely to do more harm than good and aggravate the ulcer. Another very simple thing we need to do is, many of these cases when they come to us, they will look awful. But don't be in a hurry immediately to prescribe all the medicine. Wait for some time. Go for simple measures like cleansing the wound, saline compresses, cleansing the wound. Find out whether there is an infection. If there is an infection, do culture sensitivity, give antibiotic. With these measures itself, you will find 30 to 40% of the severity of what the patient came with will reduce. This is the same true for pemphigus. If a patient comes with pemphigus, you will immediately think this person will require 100 milligrams of prednisolone. Put him in the hospital. Take care of his general measures. Within 4 to 5 days, without starting steroid, you will find that he requires 50 to 60 milligrams of steroids. So it is this simple care which will reduce. So don't be in a hurry to start the medicines. Take care of the patient. And then, of course, one of the important thing is, any person believes that it's a leg ulcer. It's a leg, nothing will happen. Anything apply, anything you can apply. The neighbors will give something. Some doctor would have given for something, they will apply for this. And so, leg ulcer, allergic contact dermatitis is very, very common. And finding out this cause of allergen is extremely important in the treatment, because if you don't and if you continue what the person is allergic to, then whatever treatment you give, irrespective of what you do, will not bear the result. So patch testing will tell you what has to be avoided and what can be used. That also tells. But a very good dictum in all case of allergic contact dermatitis, especially in case of venous ulcers, stasis ulcers, is to avoid topical medicaments. Topical medicaments in terms of any preparation, except for simple things like liquid paraffin, Vaseline, you will find that almost anything can cause allergy to these patients because of prolonged application. So patch testing again can show you can find, often you will find a positivity, finding out what is the positivity. Parabens are used in many commercial preparations. So you will have to find out what the person has used, find out, and then try to avoid that. And avoiding those itself will bring about improvement in the condition rather than you treating it aggressively. Sometimes very unusual sensitivity. For this, of course, you will have to do patch test with the preservative series. What happens is, our medicaments not only have simple medicaments, they have numerous preservatives, apart from antimicrobials, antioxidants, and all this over a period of time can cause allergy, and identifying that is extremely important in the management. Recently, we did a study And this is what we found out in the leg ulcer, the various things which can cause allergy. So this is what was the effect of that. And this would be the same thing which would be happening in almost all the places in India with some small variations as to what could be the common allergens occurring in these patients. So what are the important things here? Suspect hypersensitivity to topical formulations. Most of the OTC steroids have paraben as preservatives. More than paraben, many will have crisols, which is a phenolic derivative, as a preservative. So if you are in doubt and you don't know what it is there, go for ointments. Ointments don't have water, and since they don't have water, they don't require preservatives. If at all you want to do something, go in for ointments rather than creams and lotions, which are likely to have. Patients with venous sensitivity do have a propensity to develop allergic contact dermatitis. So do a patch test on them and also try to avoid allergens. Then the treatment comes as to how you are going to manage. It is a very difficult task. Difficult to heal. After heal, prevention of relapse is just equally difficult. So how do you go about it? The first important thing is compression bandage. Doing that properly, after of course controlling the infection, that would be the most important thing. Cleansing is very, very important, and debridement of the unhealthy tissue should be taken up before we start the compression bandage. Relief of pain. Many believe that venous ulcer is not painful. That is not true. Venous ulcer also is painful, but maybe less painful than arterial ulcer, but do give relief to the pain when you are treating. Now, I am coming to the man, an engineer who has contributed. He is Konrad Zobst. This Konrad Zobst was an engineer, an entrepreneur, and also a person who had multiple inventions, innovations to his credit. But he had one problem. He also had varicose eczema. And he found that when he had varicose eczema, when he went swimming, the varicose eczema used to improve, or the edema on the legs, the varicose, this edema used to subside. Now he has a lot of these things to credit, and he basically worked in a place known as Toledo, which is near Spain, Madrid, a beautiful place where they also used to make wonderful swords. And he found that the hydrostatic pressure in the swimming pool is much more at the lower portion of the pool than in the higher portion of the pool. Which is why when a person enters a pool, there is a graded compression of leg, wherein the lower portion of the leg is exposed to the weight or the column of the weight of the entire pool. And as we come higher up and higher up, the pressure gradient decreases. And then he realized that this is the factor which is possibly this thing, and he collaborated with a physiologist. Collaboration is so important. You may have an idea, but you should walk across, talk to people, and he collaborated with Otto Gauer, who is a physiologist, and together they came up with the compression stockings, which is still known by his name. And we all know that this is by far one of the most important discoveries in the treatment, and I already told about this. Highest pressure is there lower down, and as we go higher up, the pressure decreases. Then of course, there can be other ways of giving the compression. Immediately when a person comes, you must not go in for the stockings. You must first try simple compression bandage, because the swelling of the leg will be quite different 15 to 20 days after you start treatment. So if you immediately apply socks, you will find that the socks becomes loose after 15 to 20 days. So please wait before you go, give the compression this thing, and go in for simple crepe bandage or 4-layer compression, which really works. And then when you find an improvement, then you ask him to go for stockings. Now there are various types of stockings which are available. The below knee stocking is the one which a person is likely to comply. The above knee stocking may work better, but the compliance rate is going to be extremely poor with the above knee stocking. So go for the below knee stocking. Let there be some amount of compromise with what the effect is going to be, but still this is extremely important. And how are you going to advise a person to use stockings? When should they use stockings? This practical advice is very, very important. How will a person take bath? Should he use it at night time or not? And if he uses it, so what is the advice? Advice is you don't need stockings when you are in bed. The edema will come down. But can he wear it immediately after that? He has to go to the toilet, he has to take bath. So what he should do is, you must tell these persons, get up in the morning, modify your lifestyle, finish all the tasks that you need to do, take your bath, do your toilet, everything, then come back, sit down for 10-15 minutes, and then wear your stockings. So this point is often missed out, and so what happens, they will find that the same stocking is difficult to wear in the morning, and because it is difficult to wear in the morning, they will find that they will injure their own skin, and this injury can lead to infection, can lead to other complications. So directing, prescribing is just one part of it. Directing on how to use is the more important part. 4-layer compression is again the same compression. First layer, we have tried this. First layer is orthopedic wool, which is an absorbent, and you apply this first on the leg. Then there is a cotton crepe bandage, which you apply above that. And there is a 3-layer weight class elastic compression bandage. You apply this above that, and you get about 20 millimeters of mercury with this. And then lastly, you give a cohesive compression bandage. This is available as a 4-layer bandage. It is very cheap, relatively cheap. It costs only about 400 rupees or something. And once placed, it can be in position for 4 to 5 days. So you don't have to change it every day, and you will find that this brings about edema. After you do this, then go for the compression bandage, or you go for crepe bandage and then go for the compression bandage. But do not go directly for the compression stockings when the person comes to you. So this is how you do that, apply that. Then of course, there are numerous topical, I'm not going too much into what all. We also use Unna's paste, modified Unna's paste for the ulcer healing. Peri-wound dermatitis is extremely important. How are you going to treat? The skin is highly irritated, very fragile, and it has to be dealt with great deal of care. Such is the degree of irritation that even water will irritate. Then you tell the person saline compresses. How to use the saline is extremely important. How much salt to use is extremely important. How long to use is also important. So we give compresses for about 2 to 3 days of the saline compresses. After that, we'll have to start applying liquid paraffin. So these instructions, how to make the saline. Buying a saline is not possible for all the persons. So the simple mathematics for that is 2 glasses of water, 1 teaspoon of salt is the calculation with the head removed. So if a person requires 10 glasses of water, add 5 glasses of salt to that, boil that water, cool that water, and then give the compresses, you will find that the irritation is much less. Do that for about 3-4 days. Do not give any topicals for the 3-4 days. After 3-4 days, continue the compresses and then start the emollients. And then after that, stop the compresses, continue with the emollients that is required. Unless you go through these things, they're simple as they may seem, but they are far more important than the medicines. Then what are various medicines? For lipodermatosclerosis, we can give stanozolol. Controlled studies have not found it very effective, but still in my practice, I give it, and I do find that those lipodermatosclerosis, which possibly prevents the wound healing, which has got a woody hard consistency, over a period of 3 to 4 months can become soft. But it is important to find out whether the person has got hypertension. You will have to see whether the sodium levels go up on this, and of course hepatotoxicity should be screened before you give for stanozolol. And if he has got any of this problem, consult the physician, find out whether you can give that medicine or not. There is very little evidence for the other drugs which can be used in this. I do occasionally use calcium dorbicillate for vasodilatation and increased supply. Pentoxifylline, of course, is a drug which has been around for a long time, often has been searching for indication, but this is one drug which increases the blood supply, and it has also got action against the tumor necrosis factor, and that also reduces the inflammation in these cases. Aspirin has been tried. There is a controversy. Some people say aspirin is good. Some people say aspirin is not helpful. I think it depends on how your own experience. I personally do not use aspirin because I find that aspirin causes a lot of gastric irritation in many patients. Lifestyle advice is extremely important. Nutrition is important. Exercise, elevating the leg. You must tell the person about the 2 different hearts people have. One here and one on the leg. And then the need to move the muscles to prevent. And how do you do that? Some people say, I have got knee surgery, I have got hip replacement. How do you do that? So I tell them, keep a pillow for your leg and keep on compressing the pillow even if you cannot move about. So that people do. The compression of the pillow or the movement of the leg, dorsiflexion and dorsiflexion itself will keep the muscle going and the circulation going, and thereby you will find that there is improvement. In some cases, rare cases, we have gone for vacuum assisted closing, wherein we create a negative pressure. You can see how it works. And we have done it in few cases, and we find that very difficult cases, vacuum-assisted wound healing. Machines are available, but if you don't have machine, you can do this yourself in the bedside, and very good images are there on net to learn. We learned it all by looking at the net, by how to do that, vacuum this thing. And we were able to heal very difficult wounds by using this method. This is what will happen. As the section goes up, the whole thing will shrink, the secretions will be sucked in by the vacuum, you will find that the ulcer closes, and then of course every 4 to 5, you can leave it for a long time over there, and 3 to 4 days, take it out and then replace. Very difficult wounds heal well with this, and the granulation tissue comes up. Then of course, platelet growth factor is now the in thing. I didn't do the study, Dr. Reena did it, and they found that growth factors especially is helpful. Platelet-derived growth factor, fibrin, is helpful. And you all know the procedure as to how it is done. Platelet-rich plasma.
Dr. Srinivas, please conclude.
Okay. The important thing is finding out what the etiology is, tackling the nutrition, and then controlling the infection, and finding out if the person has got allergy or not, and then treating the person would be the management of the varicose eczema with varicose ulcer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. I think we'll have questions later. Right?
Any question time?
Any questions time? Okay. Dr. Girdhar.
You can keep your hand like this and speak. If you tell the question, I can translate it. Yeah.
Sir, it's not exactly about the venous ulcer.
It is not?
I'm
Okay.
talking about the plantar ulcers, which we get sometimes in Hansen's patients.
Come again?
The plantar ulcers,
Right.
which we see sometimes in Hansen's patients, and they have very huge callus around the ulcer, and so much difficult to heal that ulcer. Any particular trick you use to manage?
Yeah, first is of course you have to remove the callosity surgically, you will have to do that. Then, as I tell you, the Unna's paste is quite helpful in that. And then we have also tried this platelet activated factor, fibrin, that also is helpful in bringing about the healing of the ulcer. Then of course, preventing the pressure in that area is extremely important. For preventing the pressure in that area, an ordinary microcellular rubber footwear is of no use, because in no time it goes off, it wears off, and the holes, you'll find right at the place where the pressure is there, it goes down, and more pressure is occurred. So you simply write a MCR chappal. MCR chappal will worsen the ulcer that occurs on the leg. So you will have to ask them to buy a rubber footwear which is firm, not the very soft one, into which you should send them to the person who makes the footwear and make a well over there. And once a well is there, a tape is put on that to prevent the dust or something from going in. And if they wear that footwear along with this treatment, then you will find that the ulcer does not recur. But then having said that, all this sounds nice. In practical, very difficult to treat.
Thank you, sir.